UPSC interviews. We say practice makes a man perfect. So, what is perfection? How to achieve perfection in UPSC interviews? Let's understand from the Shreekanth who have scored All India rank 151 in recent UPSC examination results, where he have scored 204 marks, which is a tremendous marks. And it's not only about the marks. He have improved his marks to a significant level. So let's ask the Shrikant and decipher how UPSC interviews can be made predictable, what he did this year through which he was able to change the scenario of the marks and he got his desired services, that is IAS, that is supposed to be his service according to the present scenario. So moving to the Shrikant, first of all, a very congratulations here. We welcome you all, Sriram IAS, and we would like to know your interview strategy. So first question that comes to my mind, you know that this YouTube interviews, these mock panel interviews, and specifically these kind of questions, how many stairs you used while climbing up to this room, how many steps did you take to come to this room? Is it like that, or there is something different?
Sir, I think the original UPSC interview is nowhere related to the kind of mock interviews that we give. Largely mock interviews are more worried about your content. For example, they'll ask a couple of questions. If you don't know the answer, they'll keep on asking the further questions to make you feel that, oh, you don't know the content. But the actual interviews goes on a different level. For example, my experience with Suman Sharma ma'am, she has some couple of questions with respect to some data related to electrical engineering. I said, I don't know. And ma'am was happy to change the topic and get into the other topic. So the whole point of the actual UPSC interview is to know your personality, not really peep into your knowledge, asking the questions again and again, which you don't have an answer. That is not about making you feel bad that, oh, you lack content. It's more of getting into you by asking questions where you know about the topic. So that in that sense, the actual UPSC interview is very different than mock interviews, and often a lot of people will agree with me, the kind of mock interview marks doesn't really reflect in the actual interview, because mock interviews and actual interviews are looking into two different aspects of an individual personality.
Okay, but people do take these marks quite seriously. So how you ensured you are not influenced with the marking system?
Sir, from the very beginning in the preparation, I've decided that I have to take anything with a pinch of salt, especially with respect to the personality test, because asking a couple of questions on random topics and judging an individual personality or giving harsh feedback, this is something I've never believed. And always I was into, whenever I go for a mock, my concentration is all about what kind of different topics they're touching from my DAF, which I should be prepared on. Or is there any severe flaw with respect to the way I'm answering? Whether my answers are whether they're crossing that getting into the informal nature, or whether my answers are against the constitutional values. So these are my broader check boxes that I'm looking into, but never into the score that we're giving at the end. Rather, these major aspects where I should not do anything wrong.
So basically, Shrikant utilized mocks as a practice set rather than being emotional about the marks.
Correct, sir.
So Shrikant, since this podcast or talk is all about the interviews, 3 attempts, 3 interviews. It's amazing to give interview in the first attempt. It's amazing to give interview in the second attempt, but no results. As you said, the interview was something that was keeping you aback. Yes. What wrong was going on there in the first and second attempt? And what was your score, if you're comfortable?
Yes. I've scored 153 in my first attempt, 165 in my second attempt, and 204 in this attempt. Some major issue with me was I was holding myself. To be honest, I was scared to speak out what I have in my mind. One being, I'm worried that what if they don't hold the same view I have with respect to any topic? And sometimes I just escape the question. I'm more worried about the follow-up questions. If any controversial topic, I used to escape the question. I think that was a very wrong strategy. Irrespective of the question, we have to put forward our view. And people, they're also very rational people. They'll accept even it's a difference of opinion. But I was largely very skeptical, scared, holding back. I saw that as more of a college viva. oh, somebody asks questions, I have to answer it. I was never into this sitting freely, considering that as a conversation. So it has been like that in my first two attempts. And one thing I've noticed from my other friends, for example, one of my friend, Damni Amdas, she's currently serving as an IAS officer. When I've compared my style of approach to her style of approach or any other person, they brought in little bit of wittiness. They were free in talking. They're not really worried about what if I say this, whether they are in the same alignment of the same view. So I think this is something in my third interview. I felt that I have to be free, I have to be open. Whatever opinion I have, I'll put forward, and I make sure I have my own logical reasoning for the same. And I've tried to be more witty, and I've prepared little punchlines to use it here and there.
Any one single that you would like to share, the instance from your interview?
So with respect to the wittiness, so there was the whole discussion was happening on the Bangladesh crisis, whether we should deport Sheikh Hasina, all this discussion. And all of a sudden, one of the male member asked me, "What do you think of Muhammad Yunus?" And I just took a pause and I said, "I think he's suffering from dementia." I think the whole board were laughing for a couple of seconds, and that person was interested to know, why do you think about that? Then I've brought in the whole historical perspective and why it is needed to.
How did you defend your answer?
Once he asked me, why do you think so? Then I started with one of the quote, the UPSC quote. History repeats itself, first as a tragedy, second as a farce. And if any person is not learning from the history, second time, then it's there. Then it's like it's kind of a mockery. So Bangladesh being Bangladesh, which has got freedom from Pakistan, and the help that India gave to Bangladesh, and all of a sudden in the current scenario, Bangladesh want to erase that. They're telling there's no role of India in 1971 war. They want to reset the relations with Pakistan. They want to have their trade. I was like, this is nonsense. They have to understand what happened in the history, and they should be more careful about that. All of a sudden, they can't, just for their own revenge politics, they can't forget their history, and they can't put the whole country at the stake. So they were okay with that question. And there's one more question about whether you want a male PA or a female PA. I said, sir, PA is PA. Whoever is capable, I'll have it. Then he asked, like, suppose if we have similar ideas, do you think can I be a good PA for you? I said, sir, you can be a good PA, but I don't want person with a similar idea. Then he took it back. I was like, why you don't want a PA with similar idea? I said that, sir, if I'm having somebody as a PA, I want that person to have a diverse view, because tomorrow if I say something, I want some kind of different perspective from that person.
Basically, construction and deconstruction of the ideas.
So I think that member really liked that answer. And there was one question about masculinity and femininity.
Nice.
Because I'm from sociology, so sir asked, are you feminine or masculine? Then I said, sir, masculinity and femininity are socially constructed concepts. So if I feel like crying, I'll cry, which is considered as feminine nature. Or if something is going wrong, I'll be authoritative and I'll ask, which is considered as a masculine nature. So it's not gender specific. All of us here, we have both the aspects of masculinity and femininity. Then he said, like, acha, okay, now tell me the most masculine character of yourself. Then I said, sir, not really fearing off to show my feminine side to the society is the most masculine character. And Suman Sharma ma'am was very much happy with that.
It was a street smartness, I guess.
She was very happy with that answer. So, lot of questions. They expected that I'll give some. For example, they asked, there's so much uncertainty is going on, what should we do? They are expecting, like typically people might say, sir, we should do that, we should do this. I just took a pause and said, ma'am, uncertainty is uncertainty, we have to embrace it. Because if we know that it's that is coming up, we don't call it an uncertainty, we have to embrace it. I just said in one statement, and ma'am was happy with those kind of answers. So largely, it was more of a discussion, a lot of giggles here and there. So members were very happy.
Now, coming to the point, can I say that, so interview is about not the right answer, but the wrong answer. Every answer is right, every answer is wrong, but depends how you defend it.
That is true, very true, sir. It's like you can put forward any opinion. You don't need to be worried about what other person might be thinking, but make sure you have a logical reason to defend your opinion, because they might ask multiple follow-up questions. So that is one thing. So you can prepare some of the punchlines you can use here and there.
In your case, your quotation that history repeats itself, but you did not let history repeat in the interviews. Now this is something new. So what new you tried? What happened to your personality? How you trained yourself? As we were discussing, you said you did not even come to Delhi for the interview preparation.
So largely I've done my online interview discussions, and in Bangalore I have my one mentor called Fariz Rahman. So that sir was largely helping me with the interviews. So largely my preparation was based out of Bangalore only, sir.
Arey, very nice, very nice. So, what new you tried for this interview? What changes? Basically, you said that you were holding yourself. Now, what medicine you took to make yourself free?
Nothing like the medicine. The only medicine is my previous interview marks. That clearly reflected that holding back your opinions is not really giving out any result. I was like, it's okay, whatever happens. At least I want to show my personality and get out of that room. Because if I'm showing my personality and getting out of the room and I'm getting any marks, I can associate whether they're really liking my personality or not. But previous attempts I was not really showing my personality. So the question was, there's no correlation whether they're liking it, not liking it, because I'm not showing my personality. So I think that's when I felt that I have to be like honest, I have to be real, I have to be chill. I just want to have a conversation that we have with our mentors or the friends, and making sure that I'm not crossing that formal line. So that was I've never been that free in any kind of a session. And I think when you are free, you have good presence of mind. If you have good presence of mind, you can show your little wittiness, you can correlate topics, and you can play a little street smart also. So I think all these factors collectively played a role, sir.
How does it feel now to basically, it's not about the selection for you, I guess. Selection is for many people, those who are in the list, they all are selected. But breaking that barrier that was holding you down. Okay, so how does it feel now? Does it feel that now personality is now changed? Now I'm reformed personality. Does it so?
Sir, I would not consider that I'm a like reformed personality, but I would say that I was able to show my true personality. If I wish I would have shown this in my first and second interviews, so that I would have got a good rank and I don't need to give this attempt. But I felt that finally I realized that what UPSC interview is all about. It's not about pre-prepared answers. It's not about giving fully balanced opinions. It's not about just thinking, oh, these people might have this opinion, let me go with the same opinion. It is not at all about that. You should have your own opinion. The question is not about balancing. If they ask what do you think, they are really expecting what do you think. They know both has pros and cons in this thing, but you should put forward your opinion, and you have to weigh the pros and cons, and you have to logically explain why you're taking that stand. I think that is one change in approach that I have taken in the third interview, and I'm very happy. Finally, I was able to show my true personality to the board.
Okay, so it's not the changed personality, but the true personality that
Yeah,
you
it's like
brought out.
how much you want to show to the board. End of the day, you can hold back everything, and you can be you worry about what they might perceive, or you can be free and just speak out what is there in your mind, making sure that you're not crossing any lines, be with respect to the formal, informal, or be with respect to the laws, constitutional values. Make sure you're playing in that boundary, and you can put forward any opinion, have strong backing. I think that is the way out for the UPSC interviews.
Very nice, very nice. Now, coming to the R association. Okay, so Sriram size, how did the Sriram size play a role in your journey?
Sir, one unique aspect about the mock interviews at Sriram IIS is, for 5 minutes you'll be asking questions, you'll give the feedback, and you'll ask me to improve then and there in the next 5 minutes. And next 5 minutes I'll get a different feedback. I have to improve there and I have to go to the next 5 minutes. I think that whole connected, holistic approach with respect to the personality test has helped with respect to my concising my answers, or just speaking out what exactly is being asked without really beating around the bush. So these are the areas, sir. Along with that, some of the areas that you've touched upon in the DAF, I got a chance to look into a new perspective on my DAF and to learn more about that. So I'm very thankful for that perspective with respect to the interview guidance, sir.
Thank you very much. And since you were there in my classes, you told that the recordings you used to watch. Now, first thing, how you were able to watch those recordings. To be very honest, I am quite skeptical that I will be able to watch any recording. So how you ensure that disciplined sitting and watch the recording, and any feedback about the recording, that classes, perspective classes I call them, where I cover current affairs as well. So how do you feel? Means how did they help? But first question is, how to inculcate that discipline to watch online classes?
Sir, if you want to do, you'll do anything, sir. It doesn't matter, it's online, offline, traveling, anything. If you want to do it, you'll do it. And online classes is more about more flexibility. You can do it from anywhere. And with respect to the session, sir, I think you rightly called it out, perspective sessions, because I remember a lot of people will raise the questions from the transcripts.
Yes.
They'll bring those questions. I might have one perspective, but in the once we get into the discussions, I can hear different perspectives. So that led to more of holistic understanding about any issue. For example, they can take any question that were asked by the board member. They'll be all the students will be putting forward their opinion. Then you will give your own opinion. I might have one opinion. So this diverse perspective will enrich your knowledge on any issue that is happening, so that you can, but by listening, by taking all the perspectives into consideration, you can come up with or you can strengthen your existing perception on the issue, or you can change the perception because you got to know the different perceptions about the same issue. So that way I think it really helped, because largely some of the critical daft questions only people used to pick up and ask in that sessions, the transcript questions, I mean, so it was very helpful, sir.
Thank you very much. Now coming to the last part of this podcast. So basically what I want to ask you now, Shreekanth, 204. I mean, amazing, yaar. It's not a, I will say, easy score. And there are a number of myths. I ask you, select 3 myths on which you did not trust. No, this I have not to do, at least for the interview round.
So first one is giving balanced answers. When they are asking your opinion, they want your opinion. They know every issue has pros and cons. It's not the mains anymore. Mains, you write pros and cons, you'll get marks. If an individual is asking your opinion, put forward your opinion, give a logical reason for that, and you can end it concluding, there might be issues as well, sir, we have to look into that. But don't start with statements like, sir, this is a double-edged sword, there are pros and cons. This is not really expecting in the interview, sir. The second thing is, you have to know anything, everything in the world. Even in my interview, I remember there were 3 back-to-back questions, some factual questions on BIMS tech. I said sorry like 3-4 times. So it's completely fine to say sorry back-to-back 3-4 times, and despite that you'll get good score. They are not really worried about whether you know anything, everything that is happening in the world. Be honest, just say you don't know. They'll move to a different set of this thing. And third thing is, don't come up with preconceived notions, or these are the board members, they have this particular view about this issue, or they are always pro-government, always anti-government. Don't never ever come up with any such approach to the interview. You have your own approach, but make sure you have more logical arguments for that. If you put forward your logical arguments, all the board members are rational enough to accept your view. So I think these are the 3 things I would say all the aspirants.
So just to complement your sayings, there was one friend of mine, he too appeared for the interviews, and he is presently serving in Indian Ordnance Factory Board. Now the service is not there. Corporatization has been there for the service. So just to share with you, it was a COVID time and interviews were getting over in the 15-20 minutes. So when he got into the interview room, it was like 11 questions totality. In totality, it was asked. And 9 answers, he said no. And when the 10th and 11th question come, it was about the international relations, and he belongs to the PSIR family. So he gave India, China, India, Pakistan 2 answers, and the interview was like first 9 questions, 5 minutes, answer is no. Next 11 minutes or 12 minutes, it's these 2 questions, the discussion is going on, interview is over. And he called me up, Kata, Utkarsh, you know that I wanted to give answer of 10th and 11th as well for no. I wanted to check if you go into the interview room and come out of it, then how much you will score just by saying no. And you won't believe he scored 180s. Okay, just 2 answers out of 11. But all you have to maintain calm and composure.
I would say 1 very good answers will change your marks like anything. or it might be going very well, and one very bad answer you give, that might change the perspective.
Okay.
So it's not about how many correct answers or how many wrong answers. It's about what is your perspective towards service or any other thing for that matter.
Second last or last question, depending upon your answer. So as you said, one question will change the trajectory of your interview. Tell me which question do you think that changed the trajectory of your interview?
Sir, I think masculine, feminine is something. I think they're not really expecting that about my answer about what is your most masculine. And I can clearly see all the members were very happy with that. And one of the member gave feedback there only because I asked them, like, I've been speaking, I want to drink some water. I was drinking some water and he started giving feedback. Oh, you're doing so well. Chairperson ma'am is impressed. Everybody impressed. So I think that is one question, sir. And with respect to wittiness, I think Muhammad Yunis question, I would say. And the other thing I would say is use of punchlines. Wherever it's okay to use it. Use a quote or use a punchline, which sets up that pace to the answer that you're gonna give. So these are the few questions I felt that I think that have changed the whole direction of the interview. Despite saying that there are so many questions I did not answer in the interview as well. But I think these are the things maybe they're happy with my answers.
Any parting words that you would like to give to the aspirant community of yours?
So the only thing I would say is if you're giving 100% to this exam, so then you are already successful. Getting in the name in the list or not, there's so many factors that controls that. So I would like to say to the students that if you're giving 100% to your preparation, you are honest to yourself, be happy, doesn't matter. And I also want to say to the parents, if the children are putting their 100% effort, please don't really compare them based on the result. Things can happen anyway. I was there, I was not in the list back to back, and all of a sudden the things have changed. I would only say give your 100%. And I also want parents to be more considerate to the students. If they're giving 100%, there's also a chance that they might not clear the exam. So that's the only thing, sir. The only way to evaluate your efforts is whether you're giving 100% or not. If you're doing that, you have done your part. Don't worry about the end result. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work, or sometimes it might take time. But you don't be hard on yourself if you can't find your name in the list. Only when you have given 100%. That is your part of the work to do. And results, there's so many factors that decide. So this is the only thing I want to say to that.
So this is what the Shreekanth wanted to give back to the community. And I will say one of the most rightful answer that I have received, instead of saying glorification words, he used simple terms just to say it's completely fine. All that thing that you have in your hand is to put your efforts. So yes, do put your effort. That's all from our side. We will bring new guest, new ranker very soon. So as you know that we have given a quite good result this year. So this was the story of 204 from the Shreekanth. Signing off with Shukla for the day. Bye bye. Take care. All the best. Jai Hind.